Dogecoin creator says crypto is a scam. Yes, this guy Jackson Palmer has not been happy about most of this recent Doge stuff and did not appear to be a fan of Elon's interest and involvement pretty much from the jump. I remember reading some of his replies. What does he say? Whoa.
So it's a whole thread. It's not too long. Just a couple of tweets.
It always amazes me.
But very condensed and
it always amazes me when
insightful.
You use Twitter this way because I never do. I just can't imagine putting all those letters on Twitter. I would just come here and talk, right? Like I'm so in the mindset of like this feels so much more efficient if I want to say all that.
Sure.
But
he doesn't have a platform.
Obviously.
YouTube,
yeah, no, I understand. But when I see all that, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of words for Twitter. But
and
anyway.
He likes to post and ghost, I guess. Because he doesn't post a lot.
No, you're absolutely right.
I think he just wants to get it out there.
I'm often asked if I will return to cryptocurrency or begin regularly sharing my thoughts on the topic again. My answer is a wholehearted no. But to avoid repeating myself, I figure it might be worthwhile briefly explaining why here. After years of studying it, I believe that cryptocurrency is an inherently right-wing, hyper-capitalistic technology built primarily to amplify the wealth of its proponents through a combination of tax avoidance, diminished regulatory oversight, and artificially enforced scarcity. Despite claims of decentralization, the cryptocurrency industry is controlled by a powerful cartel of wealthy figures who, with time, have evolved to incorporate many of the same institutions tied to the existing centralized financial system they supposedly set out to replace. The cryptocurrency industry leverages a network of shady business connections, bot influencers, and pay-for-play media outlets to perpetuate a cult-like get-rich-quick funnel designed to extract new money from the financially desperate and naive. Financial exploitation undoubtedly existed before cryptocurrency, but cryptocurrency is almost purpose-built to make the funnel of profiteering more efficient for those at the top and less safeguarded for the vulnerable. Cryptocurrency is like taking the worst parts of today's capitalist system, e.g. corruption, fraud, and inequality, and using software to technically limit the use of interventions, e.g. audits, regulation, taxation, which serve as protections or safety nets for the average person. Lose your savings account password, your fault. Fall victim to a scam, your fault. Billionaires manipulating markets, they're geniuses. This is the type of dangerous free-for-all capitalism cryptocurrency was unfortunately architected to facilitate since its inception. But these days, even the most modest critique of cryptocurrency will draw smears from the powerful figures in control of the industry and the ire of retail investors who they've sold the false promise of one day being a fellow billionaire. Good faith debate is near impossible. For these reasons, I simply no longer go out of my way to engage in public discussion regarding cryptocurrency. It doesn't align with my politics or belief system, and I don't have the energy to try and discuss that with those unwilling to engage in a grounded conversation. I didn't expect to read all of that.
I didn't expect so either. I was going to paraphrase.
It was kind of well written, though.
It was, very insightful.
Like, I didn't feel at any point like I was struggling to move through it. It was smoothly written, and I'm actually glad that I've recorded that for anybody who didn't want to read it themselves. Now you have the statement in its entirety from the creator of Dogecoin. What does this mean? I don't know about his reach. These tweets have around 13,000 retweets, at least on the first one, which got the most, 40,000 likes. So, I mean, many people have seen this. Is it enough to push the markets around in any direction? I don't think it's Elon scale. But that kind of actually points at the point he's making, which is that those that can have the most significant impact on the movement of crypto are
the whales,
are the ones who already have the most influence. And that is some kind of centralization, I guess. But it is, I mean, everyone, look, this is a controversial topic, obviously. Nobody, even Elon himself, I remember doing an interview saying, kind of warning people against putting their life savings into this thing. Is it fair to do all the meme work and the broadcasting and then also put the disclaimer at the end as a protection measure for people? Or is it too late, too little, too late? it's tough because everyone wants to be in on the hype. No one wants to be left behind. Once a bunch of pals are sitting around talking crypto and following Elon Musk and all the rest of it. So, yeah, you just hope that the average person doesn't get caught up to the point where they've got a real big risk on their hands. And I suppose that's kind of what he's referencing here, is that those types of protections don't really exist.
Right.
And it's ultimately it's easy to just say, hey, you're on your own. But that might be an oversimplification of the situation, because otherwise, why would we have certain protections in other places? But then there's a part of me, Will, that is like, hey man, it's always been this way. There's always a swindle going on. There's always someone winning and someone losing, and then hopefully the loser figures out how to be a winner at some point, and hopefully people don't lose too hard. Like this is an acceleration of very familiar.
Yeah.
A very familiar.
Why can't people
thing.
not be greedy? And that's the real.
Well, even that is difficult because you're inside of a system. One of the few structures that has existed that has allowed for prosperity, at least one of the better ones that humans have ever concocted. This idea of being able to, I suppose, have the freedom to trade your labor, the freedom to decide which companies you want to support and things that you want to buy and so forth. But it's certainly not perfect. It's not perfect on the fringes, but it's a type of thing where you put up with it and partake because up until this point, at least, there's not a ton of evidence that there's some better way to set it up. And so the idea of wanting more, or the idea of billionaires becoming bigger billionaires, it's kind of part of the whole thing. It's like it seems, at least it's gone long enough now, that it's very difficult to extract those fringe elements and then still protect the identity of the whole thing.
Even if you have the right intentions, the best intentions.
Yeah,
Nature
because
finds its way.
Well, but who's to say, right? Who is the group that gets to say? And I know governments exist. Like these conversations do take place, but it is you may be getting rid of one group and replacing it with another.
It's like a power vacuum
that may have more capabilities to influence your life than others. Like there's no perfect situation, is I suppose what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But either way, Jackson Palmer is off the cryptocurrency train, and he's not too hot on it. And it is a significant development because this guy has been involved in the thing. And I'm sure there's elements of value there for some people in those statements. And others will be very angry with those statements.